And this is the last best of 5 of the week. We're on Proxima Station, spawning to the bottom left in orange. Playing for Risk in Germany. It's Miezekotze. And to the top right, in purple, playing Terran. Usually for LDLC as Miyako. But this time, for her newly made esports clan Nia, the little sister, if I'm not mistaken, Imoto-chan. Aw, cute little cats over here. So this is actually a nice little interesting rematch from Season 1, where Miezekotze and Miyako faced each other in the playoff finals. Miyako winning 4-2 back then. Let's see if Miezekotze can win this time. Going for the hatchery on the low ground. Pretty typical for Zerg players on this map. Nothing all too unusual. While Miyako, of course, going for the wall-off. Reaper opening for Miyako. Pretty typical. And the base at the back pocket expansion. While Miezekotze gets her spawning pool ready. So, factory right behind it. Not a second gas yet. So we might just see a few Hellions for early pressure. Or mines for defense, which is a bit unlikely, but still possible. Reactor right behind it. No, this is just going to be the typical Hellion opening. These buildings will switch once they're both finished, and then the factory will be able to start producing 2 Hellions at a time immediately. Here we go. Overlords getting in position. One at the back door, because of course a Terran could also break this through and then just sneak out unnoticed. And of course it's a good way to fly in with this Overlord later on. Or maybe even use it for Overlord drops, which is fairly common on this map, doing the double Overlord drop. Because both edges are pretty far away from each other, and if you have to defend at this location and at that location at once, can become pretty tricky here. But Miezekotze not going for the shenanigans. Just straight up good macro play, already taking a turret behind it. And the first 2 Hellions are out, 2 more to follow, and then Miyako will probably move out once the 4th arrives. There she goes, to apply some pressure at the natural base of Miezekotze, but 3 queens are already in position. So, if nothing goes wrong, Miezekotze shouldn't take too much damage from that. Unless Miyako really commits, throws in all the Hellions just to kill as much as she can. Yeah, Miezekotze does not really want to risk that. So, she even closes the space in here, parks all of these queens in the last remaining gap. So yeah, the Hellions will not be able to get through, of course, unless you send the queens too far out, but she does not really do that. Yeah, do not really want to see... you do not want to send a crow... you do not really want to send a queen off creep, is what I wanted to say originally. So the Overlord flying in, we have a starport and tech lab incoming right behind this. Nothing all too untypical there. Oh, actually double starport, nice. Yeah, it's fairly usual to build Banshees right behind the initial push, but this is actually going to be battle cruisers, ladies and gentlemen. It wouldn't be Miyako if we didn't see some awesome strat coming out of her, and it's the famous The famous double battle cruiser build off of 2 bases. Very nicely done here. Okay, and in the meantime, the Hellions just checked the position back here, that nothing was going on there. Like Ling's gathering somewhere, because that's something she didn't really want to do. Just walls off this part of the base as well, because sometime maybe some units may get through this, even getting Yamato cannon. And we have the fusion core dance! Ladies and gentlemen, I would actually turn up the volume if I had the song ready, but I don't. Very unfortunate, and the fusion core dance will be over before I can find the MP3. So you will just have to imagine learning the ropes by Ludique and do it yourself inside your chair. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I don't really know what you're doing on my channel. So, battle cruisers jumping right into Miezekotze's base. Will deal some damage, and yeah, of course I should have actually guessed that Miyako would go for battle cruisers here, because that is the best map to do this kind of strat for, because there's this little gap back here where nothing can reach you, so even if you jump in with the battle cruisers, you can still bring them to safety, because there's this little hole back here. And in the meantime, the Hellions and Lings just run inside the 3rd base, while Miezekotze is very, very busy defending these battle cruisers back here. And like I said, you can always park these, come back, shoot something else, and if you really, really, really want to get out because your opponent has finally gotten some air, you've managed to get enough time in order to do the tactical jump once more. So finally the Hellions get cleared over here, but a lot of drones have died already. 27 killed, 28 killed so far. Now even shooting at the base, denying all that mining, and like I said, in the meantime, well, tactical jump almost ready. There's even a 3rd battle cruiser now that has just jumped here. Will shoot down one of the queens using Yamato cannon. Miyako just microing forward all of these intact battle cruisers, or halfway intact battle cruisers. Another Yamato cannon going down, killing off one of the queens. Yeah, and that is like really annoying. So I'm really sorry, Wise Scion, but if you want to become the filthiest player in FSL, I think you will have to walk your way through Miyako here. She wants to have a word with you. So shooting down everything. The Hydras themselves not enough. Miyako even not microing back that battle cruiser here. Because who cares if I lose a battle cruiser if there are 2 more to come. Yeah, there's actually not much that Miezekotze can do from here on out. I mean, the mining gets denied on all of those bases. All of these drones are not even working. Miezekotze sends them back to work right now. All of the drones back here are dead. And it's still wide open, so Miyako could always just send in another wave of Hellion if she wanted. Although she doesn't really have the resources in order to do that. And even getting the Terran ship weapons upgrade, which is really ridiculous. And another battle cruiser jumps right into the base of Miezekotze. So might even be able to now take down the lair here, which would be a really heavy loss there. So some banelings being morphed. Miezekotze at least tries to break through to do some counter damage, but she will probably not succeed. One of the battle cruisers just flying across here in order to take out these banelings and lings. So I don't really think that Miezekotze will be all too successful, but Miyako does not really want to risk anything. Just brings more engineering space into place and also has 2 Hellions up here right now, plus the battle cruiser. So the lings will not really get through, the damage will not be dealt. And I guess that will be it. One of the battle cruisers actually transporting somewhere else, but I just lost where it went. Nowhere here, so maybe just backed homewards. Or it just I think it just transported in, right? Okay, never mind. Yeah, taking down all the important tech buildings. Miezekotze trying to fight back by taking another hatchery over here. Now the battle cruisers make their way into the natural base. There's no more anti-air left whatsoever. So unfortunately Miezekotze cannot even fight back, only with this one little queen here! Do your best, queen! Do your best! Take your sister and fight back. No, there's no way. There's just no way. 8 more drones falling. 40 in total. 2 more battlecruisers on the way. And now, of course, again, the Hellions coming in from the front will now again just deal terrible damage inside the natural if they want to. So, battlecruiser, another get taken down. 2 more battlecruisers arrive. Battlecruiser operational. Killing 60 more workers with the Hellions over here. And slowly taking out everything. Miyako just taking her sweet time here. 109 supply to 23. Also, this base will probably not help. Now all the tech is gone, so nothing else to produce but queens. GG! And Miyako takes the first map. Odyssey is the next map. Miezekotze chose it. Let's see what she has in store for us. And let's see what this woman wants to do next. After building 2 battlecruisers. Yeah, should have guessed that. It was the perfect map for that. So, will Miezekotze do something crazy? Or will she play a little bit more conservatively? Refinery already on the way, even before the barracks is getting built, so we will probably see a factory right behind it. Might actually be known. And that's actually not the best map for battlecruiser builds. Like I said, the good thing about the last map was that there was this wide open space right behind the natural and main base where you can always retreat to if need be. But yeah, no such space over here, so there will always be a way to reach the battlecruisers. But let's see what Miyako has up her sleeves. Reaper on the way. Command center right behind it. Might just go for the good old 2-1-1. With an expand. Miezekotze's base halfway done. Pool already done. Queen will probably be done when the Reaper hits. Where is it actually? Oh, there. Yeah, never mind. Of course the Reaper will be done before the Queen. The Queen will be done before the Reaper hits. So, 2 links just for scouting purposes in order to see what's being done over here. Actually, Miyako realizes what's going on. No, does not realize what's going on, but checks around and walks the other way. Might have even suspected her opponent to sneak in a few links. And these 2 links can actually be really annoying if they get to this SEV and take it out so that it won't be able to get done with the command center. That sometimes even makes the Terran call their Reaper back because they just have to. Yeah, Miyako just moving around the SEV, does not want to let it die before the Reaper arrives, and eventually even manages to do... No, just barely! Miezekotze manages to get the SEV, so small little delay and victory for her there. Actually, pretty much worth it. Oh, totally worth it. Sacrificing these 2 links in order to get the command center building SEV is totally what you want to do if you can do it, especially since she even got the Reaper back towards home, so she now has had a lot more time in order to set up her own defenses, has several queens out already, and will be able to drive away that Reaper fairly easily. Reaper will still get its scout, no way to denying that, but yeah. Sees the 3rd base already being taken. In the meantime, we should have a look at Miyako's base, going for tanks and the star portal right behind it. And even getting an Overlord supply blocking. Miezekotze here. Now this Reaper just taking its sweet little time to work on that hatchery, but will not really deal significant damage to it. So starport almost done, first tank is ready, and Miyako has built herself a nice little defensive setup here. Oh, even moving out! No, okay, never mind. But still might. Waiting for a few more Marines to come, and then we'll probably set off towards the 3rd base in order to deny it. Or maybe she knows another nice point to abuse. I don't know. That one looks very nice. No. Going towards the right side. Checking the watchtower, of course. Does not really want to be surprised by anything that's walking down that lane. Yeah, and then we'll probably just set up the tanks somewhere around here, moving in with the Marines, and we'll then be able to slowly chip away at that hatchery here, with a few more reinforcements to come. Wall is not done yet, and we don't have anything inside that bunker, so a nice Ling run by could actually work wonders here. But for now, Miezekotze will probably be a little bit occupied with this incoming push here. So how many forces does she have? Actually only a few Lings and a few Queens, so don't really know if she will be able to handle that. Should actually not be able to do so if I'm not mistaken. Bringing another siege tank with the medevac here, so nice little timing, very crisp there by Miyako, attacking with 2 tanks and a Marine force right into that straight after the 5-minute mark, just barely after the 5-minute mark. Miezekotze trying to close the distance with the Lings and trying to take down all these siege tanks, but she just cannot engage this whatsoever, especially not with the second tank behind it. Now once the base falls, she streams in with all of the Lings, wants to take out at least the Marines for now, so that the remaining Lings and Queens might then be able to take out the tanks, but she's taking so much damage here. Will eventually be able to clean up everything, but of course the base is down, a lot of units have fallen as well. While Miyako, of course, in the meantime, has had a lot of time in order to saturate her own base. Retreats for now with the units after having reached her main goal of denying that third base and even killing it, not just merely cancelling it. Miezekotze transitioning into a Hydra den, which is fairly interesting, I actually have to say. So we may actually see some Ling Hydra based push out of her. Fairly probable. Yeah, might just break through with Lings and Banes with Hydras behind. Don't really think that she wants to go into a Lurker Den. I mean, after seeing so many tanks early on, you usually don't want to go into Lurkers. Although you can make it work, but it's pretty difficult. So Armory and 2 Engineering base, so that Miyako will have the possibility to upgrade her most important units. No more tanks actually coming out. Seems as if Miyako just only wanted to have those for the first initial push, and now just wants to transition into mostly bio-mine, maybe? Or maybe some tanks later on. Just saving some gas and money up at the moment in order to get out other important tech structures, and probably even a third. I don't really think that means that Miyako wants to end this game on 2 bases here, especially not with all the amounts of upgrades she's researching right now. That's something usually long-term focused. So already getting Liberators out as well. Fairly soon already. But yeah, this makes engaging a Terran army even more difficult if you have mines and Liberators in position, and then the Bioforces pressing from behind can always retreat back into the safe zones of the Liberators and mines. It becomes really difficult for a Zerg to engage. So, even morphing these, or transforming these Hellions into Helvets, we have a lot of Hydralisks out already and a lot of Banelings. So this push should actually get held off easily. But of course, losing a lot of gas in these Banelings is always something that kinda annoys you. So in the meantime, we have a little Zergling nibbling away at the command center, won't really accomplish much. Miyako trying to fly into the main base. Will she unload? She actually will, because there's only a few Zerglings, which gets easily killed by those Marines. We have a few more Hydras around as well. No focus firing though on the medevacs, so the Marines getting healed and healed again actually deal a lot of damage before Miyako finally loads the remainders up and flies out. And will now hopefully deal with that annoying Zergling over here. So, Liberator setting up at the natural base location, taking out 1 Queen, but 1 Liberator falls. Miyako was not paying attention while these Liberators were sieging, but of course, again, denying a lot of mining time over here, even getting a lot of drone kills. 9, 10, 11! Wow, already totally worth it. So this Liberator actually made the loss of the other one worthwhile. The Mule drop while clearing the attack attempt at the third. And it is lurkers, quite interestingly. I mean, yeah, not a bad idea. After Miezekotze didn't see more tanks, lurkers can actually work very, very well against marine-based bio. They just shred those. Nothing has changed since Brood War in that regard. Of course, you have to set them up at a good location, but if you have, like, I don't know, 6 to 7 lurkers at a location, Marines just cannot engage that without getting torn to bits. So let's see if she will be able to do those. I mean, she has to survive for now until that happens and has to secure her base over here. Tries to take a fourth at the same time. I think that's a really good idea. Especially at that point in time, she really needs it. Yeah, now of course a lot of these units engage into the mines and marines, but yeah, Hydras also have a good amount of DPS there. So it's not that easy for marines only to engage this. At the meantime, Miyako, again, sending the Liberators around for harassment. That's what she mostly does. She almost never uses Liberators for direct engagements, but very often, especially in the early to mid-game, uses them for harassment here, killing another queen and again a few workers before Miezekotze can react. So, units retreating a little bit. 12, 13 workers dying inside the main base. Finally moving that, and Miyako doesn't even care, just lets it die and kill off as many things as she can, even getting that egg over here. So yeah, still worth it. Even even though she lost both of these Liberators, it was totally worth it. Moving in with another small force over to the right hand side, clearing off a little creep, but will not be able to accomplish much more over here. 2 full medevacs making their way into the main base, but they are high risk ready. The question will be, will they intercept the medevacs before they can unload or not? And the infestation pit incoming. Did it get destroyed? No. Just the first one. Okay, flying in with a few marines over here, trying to lure a few units back, but there are the other 2 medevacs, seeing that there are Hydras in place. So Miyako retreats for now, realizing there's not much she can do at that point in time. Miezekotze in the meantime with another run by. Over to the right hand side there is a bunker, but the marines are not inside it. But Miyako, also very desperate for another base, is totally oversaturating that base over here. Well, Miezekotze will get a few of these SCVs, but unfortunately most of these links just want to get close to this bunker in order to take it out, so it becomes really difficult to micro all of these. You would normally just have to focus fire all of these SCVs in order to take them down. And here come the remaining forces taking out this push over here. But yeah, like I said, Miyako really desperate for another base. She needs another base, and soon. I mean, look at the oversupply, man. That's really straight. Okay, another attempt to attack at the base over to the left-hand flank, but it didn't work out quite well. There's another attack incoming. Another 60 marine drop, and this time around the 4 Hydras are still there, but they won't intercept the medevacs, so the marines will be able to unload, and 4 Hydras, not really a match against that amount of stimp bio. So Miezekotze has to return once more, but there was another attack over here, so Miyako also trying to attack from multiple angles at once, making Miezekotze, or giving Miezekotze a hard time to defend. And there we have it. Of course, lurkers are really good, but if they are not buried, they're totally worthless. But yeah, Miezekotze has to defend at several positions at once, which is really difficult to do, let me tell you. So finally manages to clear everything up, but not without losing 9 brokers in the process. Down to 41 now. I mean, the income difference should probably not be that big. Well, it is actually bigger than I thought, because like I said, this base is like totally oversaturated. So a lot of workers not mining efficiently here, so that very often it does not really matter that much. But maybe there was some mule cooldown somewhere. I mean, Miyako is running really dry on minerals. She might actually just load, or might actually just take one of her command centers and fly it somewhere else. Oh no, never mind, there's a 4th. But it's, like I said, it's fairly late. I mean, it seems as if Miyako was really pressing the issue, hoping that she would be able to win the game off of 3 bases, but she never managed to get the decisive hit. I mean, she's just made herself a nice, comfortable lead, but yeah. Link's running in, realizing that there's a 4th base being taken, but nothing she can do against it. Now going into the Greater Spire. while Miyako has almost finished 3-3. And then, of course, a Bio Ball becomes very lethal. Units moving over here. I think Miezekotze actually has to do something. She has a lot of lurkers here. I mean, have a look at that. That is 12 lurkers. I mean, set up in the right position, they will just shred through Bioforces, no problem. Of course, they are not as mobile as Bioforce, but yeah, a Bio army, especially full of Marines, can never engage that many lurkers. I mean, that's really problematic. Yeah, Miyako realizes how many lurkers there are, tries to evade them, but yeah, there's the setup, and now of course Miezekotze has to react fairly quickly. Yeah, Miyako just takes them out before they can burrow and retreats right afterwards, but you can already see how much damage the lurkers are already dealing to all of these Marines once they run in. Still a good engagement there for Miyako, taking out a lot of these lurkers. Yeah, you always have to be careful. You do not want to have your lurkers in front. The focus firing down is just greatly done by Miyako, taking out another 3 without losing a Marine here. The Medivacs really don't have that much energy left due to all of this healing. But yeah, the Marines are still alive, getting stimmed once more. Another scan over here reveals that the lurkers now just get unburrowed. But yeah, she just streams in, kills whatever she can, might even retreat or load into all of these Medivacs. Yeah, the Corruptors of course will follow, but Miyako will be able to unload up here, at least taking out a few more units. But I think it does not really matter to her losing all of those. She's still doing a lot of damage, especially with the Marines on here that cannot actually be reached by too many units except for the Hydras there. So they eventually get taken out, but Miyako has already produced another nice force and kept her opponent busy. Especially the important thing was that she got rid of a lot of these lurkers. I mean, from once 12, she reduced the count down to 6. And maybe some of them were even remade. So that was a nice little engagement there for Miyako. So Brute Lords incoming now for Miezekotze though. Okay, Mines getting a good shot, and there are more mines to fire. Bam bam. Taking out another chunk. The lurkers though in position, so Miyako does not want to engage into a setup. That's like engaging a siege tank line, maybe even more horrific. Honestly, I think a good setup of lurkers is even more deadly than a siege tank line. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're just both equally deadly. But the amount of damage dealt is just enormous. Yeah, it's just enormous. More and more links in production. A few Vikings to answer for the Broodlings, for the Brood Lords. But Miyako manages her way towards the left-hand side. A few Banelings being morphed. We have a few Hydras incoming and a few Lurkers. Miyako retreats for now, stims again, and takes out a lot of these forces, splitting against the few Banelings there, not losing all too much, but does not want to engage anymore because she assumes that the Lurkers might already be in place. So she retreats for now. Miezekotze trying to get her lurkers into place. The Brute Lords are out, but so are a few Vikings. Miyako in the meantime has already managed to get another 4th base. Is always totally oversaturating her remaining bases because she's just so slowly taking all of the others. So unloading once more over here, trying to attack at the same time. There the Brute Lords are totally on their own, getting taken out. That's a very severe loss there from Miezekotze, losing these high-tech units without any value, and also losing another lurker there. Now it's only one left, and one lurker is something you can take on head-on. So, and that is probably it, ladies and gentlemen. The remainers of Miezekotze's army dying in face of Miyako's Marines. 2 more lurkers incoming. Miyako not paying attention, so lurkers can actually siege up. She gets the base over here, will lose all of these Marines eventually. So Miezekotze is not dead yet, indeed, but is only at half the supply of her opponent. Getting adrenal glands. I mean, her upgrades are on point. Even getting personal cloaking for the ghosts. Miyako is, but yeah, I mean, have a look at that army. Have a look at that army. That is just a scary-ass bioball. 3 Marines. Like, tons of them. With Liberator support, with Viking support. And they are not even any corruptors, I think, even in the sky. No. So not even a chance to morph anything into Broodlords, and Broodlords wouldn't really help out that much. Yeah, and this force is not big enough. Yes, we have 2 lurkers here, but yeah, the scan is coming in. The Liberators couldn't now even focus fire down the last remaining lurkers. 3rd base dies as well, and that is it with Miezekotze's mining, trying to move in the last remaining banelings. GG! And Miyako takes the 2nd game as well. Miezekotze chose Defender's Landing. She's down 0-2. It will be a hard task to come back, but can she do it against her opponent with the friggin' cute cat logo? It's Miyako. Nyan, 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 nyan. Miezekotze sending over her Overlord. Let's see what Miyako has in store this time around. There is some wide open space back here. Don't know if it's enough for battlecruisers to hide, but could be. But I doubt it. Miyako is not known for playing the same strategy twice in a best of 5. So I rather doubt it. Ooh, a little bit more conservatively. Miezekotze going for the early spawning pool before the hatch. This is actually a nice little change. Might be due to the short rush distance here, because if you don't tear down that cooling tower, the distance from one base to the other is fairly short. And I actually think Defender's Landing even won in the Team Liquid contest category for rush maps. So yeah, you might just want to have an early pool here, just in case. So Miezekotze even scouting for proxy positions. She knows that Miyako is capable of doing such a thing. While Miyako just sends in her SCV, will probably wonder why there are already 2 lings out. Ooh, even actually wants to get everything so that the Roach Warren won't be revealed, but Miyako gets the scout. And now she knows that a 3 Roach opening was headed her way, is headed her way. We'll see. That's of course always the problematic thing about being informed, because now you have to decide, will I still commit to a defense here, thus putting myself behind if the push actually doesn't come? So will I prepare for it, or will my opponent now, since I figured out what she wants to do, stop doing it? And that might have actually been the best choice here for Miezekotze, because Miyako will be fully prepared now for that 3 Roach Rush, and it's just a bigger commitment for Miezekotze. But she might have thought that having planted down the Roach Warren, she might as well go along with this anyways. I mean, it's not too far of a throwback if you just actually lose the 3 Roaches. It's mostly for putting some pressure on your opponent while droning up behind it and getting a better economy. And yeah, I mean, Miyako also had to sacrifice a few resources just in case, because it's always very risky to just ignore this information, telling yourself that your opponent won't do it now anyways after you've scouted it. So let's see. Roaches are almost out. Okay. Miezekotze does not even bother trying to attack those. Doesn't really matter. And now we have a Marauder inside the bunker. So we also have the range in order to take out these roaches. With no overload over here, the roaches can't even attack from an angle where they won't get hit by the bunker. And Miyako even now moves out, since she knows that her units are a little bit faster than the slow roaches. Just not barely getting right behind them, but wants to drive them back completely. Now sees that she's lost them, because the Marauder blocked the Marines at some point in time and the whole ball was just moving too slowly. Will now take down the cooling tower in order to give herself a little bit more breathing room, while Miezekotze just tries to get up all of the creep tumors and her 3rd hatchery. So nothing all too special happened. A little bit excitement early on. So, Medivacs, Marines, and Mines, the weapon of choice for Miyako here. And Dropper Lords being morphed somewhere over here in order to get inside the main base. Where are the links? There they move in. So we'll see if this Drop Lord will actually get something done. Miyako is moving a little bit forwards and backwards, more closely towards her main ramp, because she wants to be in position once something happens. Might actually hit the anti-timing now a little bit. Okay, there's the Overlord in place. Miyako flies out with most of her army. So if Miezekotze had a fast Overlord now, I mean, she still will be able to just run in before a lot of Marines are at home for Miyako. So this might actually work out fairly well, but she might lose her own third at the same time. I mean, 60 Marines incoming with medevac support. We only have Queens and a few Lings, no Banelings whatsoever. Yeah, I'm sorry, but there's actually no way she will be able to hold this. So at the same time, we have the push over here. So Miezekotze doing some tremendous damage already to the worker line of Miyako, but Miyako now also running in will kill this third base in yeah, we'll just kill this base herself if she just focus fires it down now. What she tries to do, the force not really trying to save it with just barely not. We'll be able to save it because this queen unfortunately just missed 5 more points before it would have been able to plant down a transfusion there. Very unfortunate for Miezekotze here, but of course she did some damage to the echo line of Miyako here. 14 workers killed. So that of course puts Miyako back a little bit, but she has another drop incoming. Still looking good for our German Zerg this time around. But our French Terran has not played all her cards yet. Getting a Spore Crawler in place, just in case. And the Marines will drop out of sight, mostly. Well, not quite. Army is incoming. I think Miezekotze should not... Miezekotze should be able to eventually hold up that push. Miyako loads in and flies out, realizing that she won't be able to deal much more damage there. Yeah, does not want to walk on creep here. Just thinking about, do I really want to commit? Do I really want to engage on creep or not? Just lets the units stand there for a while at the edge of the creep. Now just moves in, kills a few creep Tormors, has a position to retreat into, or maybe just even will let the mines stay there, so once Miezekotze tries to engage through that little choke point, the mines will just obliterate everything there. Yeah, just moves back a little bit. Ling's not following, not chasing. Miezekotze taking a fourth over to the right-hand side, and Miyako still on 2 bases. She had the third one planted down just yet. And will probably try to fly it over to this base location. Could actually even try to expand over here in order to get more aggressive towards her opponent. But we'll see. For Miezekotze, of course, this base over here made the most sense. Doesn't really want to get engaged towards an aggressive Terran as Miyako is. So, centrifugal hooks finally incoming, a little bit late maybe for Miezekotze. Don't know if she forgot it or if she just didn't want to have it that early on, or if she just never had the resources for it. So, mines in position, and this position suddenly becomes very difficult to engage, especially with a choke point here. So now the Lings are streaming in. Widow mines will fire, but even actually mostly hit the Marines, but Miyako, clever enough to just load them up before the mine hits, can fire into her own Marines, so she now has most of them still left, although the mines got triggered. But yeah, there's not much left here actually. Where are the Lings? There are the Banelings and a few Roaches. So, GG! Actually even. And Miyako takes the best of 5 with a 3-0.